The new year has arrived, and so has RRSP season. This time of year can be overwhelming for many consumers with the pressure to think about saving for retirement while dealing with the day-to-day costs of simply living and enjoying life. But RRSPs are not just for retirement. Who knew? Joining us now to discuss this is Dilys de Cruz, the Vice President and Head of Wealth Management at Meridian Credit Union, and JP Mahana, Senior Wealth Advisor. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
So an RRSP is a great way to save for retirement and help reduce your tax bill. But you both say there's some other really useful things you can use your RRSP to help achieve your goals with, right?
That's right. We all agree that saving for your retirement is a good idea. And if you've already started putting money aside for retirement, then you're definitely on track. Most Canadians use their RRSP simply for retirement, but there are other strategies, some unique strategies that you could use to help meet other goals and personal goals, such as borrowing money from your RRSP to purchase your first home, or perhaps even going back to school, or a specialized training program. And lastly, you can use RRSPs to even reduce your income taxes if you're retired. If you're 65 and older, you can convert your RRSP into a pension income stream and convert up to 50% of that to your spouse. But there are definitely other strategies, and those are the top three, and I'd love to get into each one a little bit more detail with you.
You know, it's interesting, though. I just had this conversation with my daughter. She wants to learn more about money. She's 18, and she says, Mom, should I be investing in an RRSP? And what's the difference between an RRSP and an RESP? Right, I'm saying it really slowly, because otherwise we just as bankers, ramble it off. But and JP's going to talk about this. She's 18, and she said, should I be planning for retirement? And I said, well, it's not so much retirement, but an RRSP, because she's started working and she has a part-time job, I said, can be used for other things. So if down the road you want to buy a house or you want to go back to school, these are all sorts of things you want to look at. So you're going to talk about some of the things. So, I think the whole retirement savings plan can be used for all ages. And that way, people, at a really young age, and millennials and kids coming out of school may not be thinking about retirement, but if they know that they can use that to buy a house, then why not start now?
Well, retirement, I think, has become a sort of almost a dirty word now. I mean, I should be retired, and I'm never going to retire. So it's sort of the idea of sitting on a porch and doing nothing. Yeah. And they're thinking, that's not me. That's so far away. Yeah. I think really if we think about retirement as, no, you're just going to put a pot of money away for someday, for something. Yeah. Whether it be...
You're absolutely right, too. And it's more about life planning now.
Yes.
And what are your goals? And the whole thing is moving away from retirement, because everybody has short, medium, and long-term goals, whether it's down the road retirement, whether it's getting married, buying a house, going back to school, having a baby. So it's more about life planning, and I totally agree with you. And I try and stay away from the whole retirement. Yeah. But you're using RRSPs as the way to save, right?
I know, but
it's not about retirement.
But when they ask you the question, it's like, forget retirement. You're too young. But so let's start on something that might interest them, JP, which is buying a house.
Yeah.
Yes. I took advantage of one of the plans. It's called the Homebuyers Plan. It's been around since the early 1990s. Over 3 million Canadians have taken advantage of this to draw money out of their RRSP to put down towards a down payment. I live in the Durham area. If you look at what the average cost of a home is, it's between $600,000 and $700,000. If you're looking at a down payment, that's about $35,000 to $50,000 that you would need. If you look at an RESP, when I work with young members in my practice, we try to set short-term goals. And one of those goals is setting aside some money for that down payment. If you started with just a small contribution of, say, $400 per month, earning, say, 4%, within 5 years, that's over $27,000 that you can pull out and put towards that down payment.
Yeah. And then what happens? You put the money down. Can you then go back and put that money back in again?
Yes.
Is it sort of like TFSA, where if you pull it out, you
actually have to put it back in? What do you have, 20 years?
It's 15 years.
15 years.
You have 15 years. Normally, the amount that you pull out, you have 1/15 of that amount. So if you use $25,000 as an example, 1/15, you'd have to put back about $1,666 each year until the 15 years is up. So it's a great way. Keep in mind, it's an interest-free, tax-free loan. that you're pulling out. If you decide to pull out an RRSP, for example, $25,000, and you were not a first-time home buyer, there's what they call withholding taxes. It'd be up to 30% withheld at source. So think about $7,500 off the top of that $25,000, leaving you with about $17,500.
Now, if you want to go back to school, I mean,
Yes.
obviously this is a good way, it's a good strategy for younger or older individuals, but is it right, I'm always asking about spouses and common law partners, that they can help you fund your education? If you're,
Absolutely.
Really? So
Yeah.
you can use your spouse's RSP to help fund your education?
Yeah, I find now there's a lot of young professionals who are already established in their careers, and they're looking to go back to school to improve their professional standing, or maybe even choose a completely different career path. So one way to fund the education, you can pull up to $10,000 per calendar year for 2 years. So that's $20,000 that you can use for your own education, towards tuition, books, or perhaps even your spouse or common law partner. So it's another advantage, another key feature for RSPs that you can use.
And when does that have to be paid back?
That they give you up to 10 years. So it's 10% of whatever the amount you take out. So you have to put back 10% per year for 10 years. So if you do the full $20,000, it's $2,000 per year.
And then there's strategy number 3, splitting your income with your spouse after the age of 65.
Yes. I have a lot of retired couples, 65 and older, and the first question they always ask is, how do I reduce my income taxes? So if you do convert your RSP into a RIF, a registered retirement income fund, the money that you pull out of the RIF, it's considered pension income. It's 100% taxable. So if you reach the age of 65 or older, you can move over up to 50% of your RIF payment into your spouse if one spouse is the higher income earner or has the higher income tax, or they're in the larger marginal tax rate.
So the money would have gone in at a high rate and will come out at a lower rate.
Yes. Now, if you are retired and you're receiving other sources of income, for example, a RIF payment, old age security, Canada pension plan, maybe an employer-sponsored pension plan, those sources of income add up very quickly. So if you're looking at one spouse collecting, let's say, $80,000 from those 4 sources, and the second spouse is only collecting old age security and Canada pension plan, maybe they're only collecting $20,000. Think of your RIF as a way to move up to 50% to reduce your income tax and help save on taxes.
Is there something people come in to either one of you, come in and they sit down and they're talking about advice, and you just, I can't believe that they're not doing this. The most basic things that people miss. You're nodding your head, JP.
Yeah, it's a complex business. You know, there's a lot of things out there. When I started out in this industry over 20 years ago, we'd had to go to a bookstore to read on retirement strategies. Today, with all the information that we can Google search, I still find a lot of Canadian consumers, they're not educated. And what we try to do is just kind of raise their working knowledge, again, help them save on taxes, but really plan for their retirement.
And I think, and this is not RRSP, but RESPs, right? The government is giving you free money up to $500 a year if you max out on that contribution for your kids. So take advantage of that. That's free money. Definitely, a lot of people aren't taking advantage of it to the extent they can. So,
And they're not taking advantage of TFSAs either.
right. So this is why you need to see a planner, because as much as we're in the industry, I have a planner. It's one of these guys. Well, not one of the two. But they actually advise me, because I don't even know all the things to do, because when you're sitting there, it can be overwhelming.
It's
It's totally overwhelming, and I'm in the
not
business.
can
The acronyms alone are
Yeah,
overwhelming.
and I'm in the business, and I'm the first to say it's overwhelming, and I don't know all the nuances because I don't do it day to day. JP does. So I need the advice just as much. So I encourage everybody to go in and see someone.
Okay, and how do they connect with everybody?
Yeah, so www.meridiancu.ca. Check us out. If you want to check out JP, you can actually go in there and key in his name, and we have a whole slew of advisers. Find somebody in your location.
JP Mahana.
Yes, thank you.
Great
and Dillista
name.
Cruz. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
2 great names.
Well, she said she's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.